some sort of continuing education credit with this class, and I didn't have anything in the can that I could pull out of the bag and register it. And so I called Nate, and Nate just said, yeah, let me get you in touch with Adam. Adam stepped up, and they put together the continuing education for tonight. So it's kind of in line with what we're doing. It might be a little off kilter because we teamed up literally this morning, and so I'm going to get through some of that information. Adam's going to cover some of it as well. But I just want to say thank you to Univar. I've been a customer around Univar since they were Ben Waters, so it's been a long time. So go ahead, Eric. Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks, Sean. Sean and I met last month. We hit it off. I'm a big fan of technology. Here we've got a lot of small business owners, and I think his app, it's been out. He's been working over it. He told me the story of how he came together to put it together. It seems like it solves a lot of issues. It's funny, I've been in this business now for about 2 years, and it's a fascinating business. It's an interesting business because we've got a captive audience, everybody needs the service, but in many ways, technology hasn't been fully exploited. There's still a lot of room to grow, and we live in a time where technology is finally making sense. For the last 10 years, there's a good idea, but it becomes very buggy or unwieldy, and it's hard to use. And now we've got a lot of smart people that have been using different technologies that are gaining some traction. As we mentioned today, you have an electronic reporting system that's out, and it just makes sense. Cover a couple things. I like to bring some value add. I came across a concept recently. I lived in China for a few years, as you know. One of my best friends over there, he's an American guy, and he's a serial entrepreneur. He's 35 years old. He started 3 businesses. He sold 2 of them. He's now working on a business that has 37 employees. And we were talking the other day. He's younger than me, but he's kind of a mentor because he's just a smart guy that has been successful over and over again. He introduced me to a concept recently called the Lean Startup. It's founded by this kid named Eric Ries, who is an entrepreneur in residence at Harvard. And basically it's posited off, there's a Mike Tyson quote that says, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And the same thing goes with business plans. Everybody's got a great business plan, but it really doesn't often survive first customer contact because you really don't know who your customer is ultimately going to be. I mean, we've got a good sense of who our customer is going to be in this industry, but everybody's looking for an edge. Everybody's looking to innovate. So this kid came up with this concept. It's based off of W. Edward Deming's Lean Manufacturing, which basically says the most important person in your production or service line is the customer. And the historic way of doing business is that you have a business plan, you are guessing a lot of the time who your customer is and if they're going to like your product. But you don't really know until the rubber meets the road. And most business plans really don't survive in their exact form that first initial customer contact. So what I've done is I've value add, I put together a little entrepreneur's toolkit where I've got 3 attachments. One is a Harvard Business Review, a list of it's 9 pages. It's a great review of this guy's concept. He's 29 years old. He's now one of the entrepreneurs in residence at Harvard. A lot of MBA programs are now using this philosophy, Harvard, Columbia. The second thing is a 58-minute TED Talk, if anybody's familiar with that. It's a Google TED Talk that talks about his philosophy. And then thirdly, there's an online course. It's free. There's a couple vendors now for free online courses, Coursera and Udacity. And this kid's mentee, even though the guy is 30 years older than him, has gone on and put a program together where it's about 8 hours in total. It's an online course, and you guys can walk through your business plan. And the idea is, the real idea is you have to be able to adapt quickly. And that reduces your burn rate. It reduces the time and the money that you're spending on. If you think you've got a great idea, you spend all this time and you try to apply this historic MBA program where you hire a vice president of marketing and this and that and the other without even really knowing if it's going to be an ideal product. You iterate over and over and over again, and you pivot based off of customer feedback. And this is a prime industry for it because we're all fairly intimately connected with our customers. You can actually get real feedback, and you can start with kind of a trial audience. And again, early adopters are your best friend. They're few and far between, but they're the folks that are going to give you the feedback. And here, I've gotten to know Ian pretty well over the last 1.5 to 2 years. He's pretty technically oriented. And most of the folks in here, I think, would have a value of this. So what I'm going to do is pass out just a piece of paper, put your email address on it if you want me to send you this toolkit, and then review it. And if you find it useful, great, because I think it's brilliant. And then, so that's the value add. And then very quickly, I'm going to cover a couple of the key important points that we're going to be covering in tonight's CEU. And we actually got this role when we first spoke about a month ago, and then we spoke probably the end of last week to realize that we could help each other out. And so it's called Making a Structural Inspection.